everybody, welcome to the Graf Master Fit tutorial series. I'm pleased to introduce our guest today, Olympian Felicia Zhang, who skated in the 2014 Sochi Olympics, and she's here today to get her feet measured. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to be going through the whole process of measuring the foot, and in that we're going to be sharing all of that information on how to do it and in what ways to do it. So really looking forward to sharing that with you so we can help you at home measure those feet or measure the feet of others and get you into those Graf boots you've been waiting for all your life. Hashtag Team Graf. All right, you ready, Felicia?
Always.
All right, let's get going then. Before you get started on your measurements, you're going to want to have a few essential materials. The first of those materials you should have on you at all times is a handy dandy pencil. The second material that you'll want to have with you is, just in case, an eraser. And the third material that you're going to want to have on you is a measuring tape. Now this is a measuring tape that has both inches and centimeters, but we will only be using the centimeter side as the boots are made in Switzerland and that makes use of the metric system. Lastly, we're also going to have the most essential for this process, our handy dandy Graf measuring sheet. This will be your guide to all the measurements that you need to take in order to make your boots fit the best as possible. So with that, Felicia, I'm gonna actually have you take a seat and we'll get you all set up. All right. So first thing I'll have you do is go ahead and place that foot right in the middle of that sheet. Perfect. So I'll put this tape measure down for right now. The next thing I'm going to do is take the pencil and keeping the pencil upright, usually I'll start on the inside, but personal preference. Keeping the pencil upright, I'm going to take a light tracing all the way around your foot. All right. I'm going to make sure I get all the way around the side here, around the back. And perfect. Okay. Now, without moving the foot, I'll actually hold your foot down for right now. Go ahead and stand up. So what's important about this is that some people's feet will actually flatten. Let's say you have a very flat arch. Once they stand up and put their weight on the foot will actually expand more to the sides. So that being said, we're going to take another tracing the same exact way, and we're actually going to compare and see how her foot has changed. So, keeping that pencil upright, going around the same features, trying to stay as flush to the foot as possible, all the way around, and back through to where we started. Perfect. All right, now I'm gonna have you take your foot off real quickly. I'll hold the paper down. All right. And as you can see, when she actually puts more of her weight on her foot, we have this distance from the seated tracing and the standard tracing. So the next thing I'm going to have you do is we're going to take this sheet, we're going to be efficient, save a tree, flip it over, and we're actually going to take a tracing of the other foot. Okay, so go ahead and take a seat again. We're going to place that foot down right in the middle. Excellent. I'm going to pull your pants leg up a little. Excellent. And we're going to do the same exact thing. So making sure that foot is nice and flat on the page. Pencil stays upright, keeping the pencil flush to the foot, all the way around, and back to where we started. And then again, I'll keep your foot here. Feel free to stand up. Excellent. Make sure your weight's on that foot, and we're going to do the same thing one more time. So keeping that pencil as upright as possible, and around all the bumps that you might see. You know, we got skater feet for a reason. And all the way back. Perfect. Okay, so I'll have you remove your foot one more time. I'll keep the page here. And just like on the right foot, there's a little bit of separation between the standing and the seating position. So it just tells us that you have a little bit more of a flat arch in the foot, which is kind of normal for most skaters. So with that, we're gonna flip the page back over, all right? And we're gonna start taking the measurements that you see down here on the bottom left and right of the page. Very first thing I'm gonna have you do, because it's one of the most important things, is I'm actually gonna have you stand up. We want to make sure that she's standing in order to make the foot expand to its widest point. It's always better to get that standing position so that that's the measurement that we're taking, and the boot can fit nicely around that standing position when she's skating. So that being said, very first thing I'm going to do is take a measurement of the ball of the foot. So I'm going to find the furthest most point on the outside of your foot and the furthest most point on the inside of your foot. So it kind of looks like this section right here around the ball. And with that, I will ask you to lift your front of the foot slightly. Great. And I'm going to take the measuring tape and try to make sure that I have it around those 2 points. So place the foot down. I'll let you guys see that real quickly. Notice that I have the inches side facing up so that when I wrap the measuring tape around, the centimeter side is what I see. So I'm going to make sure this is fairly snug to the foot, but not too tight. And with that, we have about 22 and a half centimeters. And I'm going to take my piece of paper here and I'm going to write down 22 and a half centimeters on the bottom of the sheet. So the next thing that we're going to do is move on to the instep of the foot. And what I'm going to have you do is, again, make sure that you're standing up so that we have that whole expansion of the foot on the ground. And I'm going to actually take this measuring tape and scooch it more, or move it slightly to the middle of the foot. I'm going to cover the instep of the foot. So if you don't mind lifting your foot slightly, I'm just going to move it to the instep, and you may place the foot down. So from here, again, I'm going to make sure that the measuring tape inches side facing me right now so that I can actually wrap the measuring tape around and wrap it over. So again, this is slightly snug to the foot in this position, and we have about 22 centimeters. All right, so again, I'm going to take the pencil. I want to make sure I go down to around the arch of the foot, and I'm going to write 22 centimeters for her right foot. Moving forward, now that we've completed the instep of the foot, I'm actually going to move towards the heel of the foot. This might be the most complicated one because we want to avoid getting a measurement from under the heel. We want to actually take the measuring tape and place it around the heel. Now, if you don't mind coming around a little bit more to this side, I'll show you what I mean by that. Do you mind raising your heel for me, Felicia? This would be what most would consider to be under the foot. What I'm going to have Felicia do is please place your foot down flat, and I'm going to actually take the measuring tape and take it around the heel. So I'm not going to go underneath the foot at all. From this position, I'm going to make sure that I actually take it not underneath her ankle, but right around it. And the same thing on the inside of the foot. And I'm going to make sure I get a snug position of the measuring tape around the circumference of the heel and ankle. And what you'll see here when we do that, if you don't mind getting in nice and close there, is 28 and a half or in some cases 28.4. It's about the same. So we're going to take that measurement and we're going to come back to our sheet and write down 28.4 for the heel measurement. Now that we've completed the heel, we're going to move ourselves up the foot a little bit further to the ankle. And with the ankle, we're going to get the narrow section of the leg. With that, we're going to take, again, the centimeter side of our measuring tape, and we're going to wrap around this narrow section of the ankle. We're going to make sure it's nice and taut, not too tight though. And as you might see there, we're at about 92 or 19.3, I would say, 19.3 centimeters. So with that, I'm going to come to the ankle measuring and I'm going to write down 19.3 centimeters. All right, we're just about done with this bit. So we're going to move on to our last measurement of the leg and the foot itself, which is the calf. So I'm going to move your pant leg up just a little bit. And the calf was one of the tricky measurements because we want to actually catch the connection of the calf to the foot itself. And feeling that here, the connection of the calf is about where the top of the boot would end. Again, centimeter measuring tape. We're going to go around that section of the calf, nice and taut. We come to about 23 centimeters. Okay? So 23 centimeters, back to the measuring sheet, write that down, and that finishes up the measurements around the foot. Felicia, now that we've completed the calf and that concludes all of the measurements around the foot, we're going to take two final measurements, and those two measurements will be the length of your foot as well as the width of your foot. So let's start with the length of your foot. I'm actually going to have you raise in your foot here while you're standing, and I'll start off at 3 just to make numbers easy for myself. I'm going to place that underneath your big toe and place that measuring tape underneath your heel. All right, so with that, thumbs there, thumb in the back. Gonna have you replace or remove your foot, and that should bring us to 3 and 25.4. So with a little bit of math magic, we're gonna go to 22.4. All right, so with that, I'm gonna go to the length on the right foot and write down 22.4 centimeters. Last measurement. Last measurement is the width of the foot, and this one is actually very easy. We're going to take the 2 points that we did for the ball of the foot, and we're not going to wrap the measuring tape around this time. We're only going to grab the widest points. So I'll start at a 5 here, and I'll bring it over to this side. So we can take a look of that overhead. If I take my thumb and I bring it to about where my thumb hits her foot on the inside there, and my thumb hits or my finger hits on this side, we're going to remove the foot, and we come to 5 and 15. So that measurement comes to exactly 10 centimeters. And lastly, to round it out, 10 centimeters for the width of the foot. All right, well, so ball of the foot, I'm gonna have you stand up real quickly though, so we make sure we get the whole width. Excellent. So get that around that bit right there. Wrap it nice and snug. That's about 22.3. Okay, so I'm gonna write that down here. 22.3. Okay, so then going around the instep of the foot, go ahead and place that down. Get that nice and snug. 21.5. Okay, 21.5. Alright, now I'm going to slip that out from underneath. We're going to go around the ankle. The ankle is going to be boom, boom, around the heel, actually, I should say. We're gonna go around the heel, and then the round, oops, tricky one on this. Around that part of the ankle, keeping that there, nice and slow. And about 28. That makes sense. That works with the other side as well. And then we're gonna do the ankle now, which is this narrow section. That's 19. Excellent. So we're gonna write down 19. And then we're gonna do the calf real quickly. So I'm gonna just move this up slightly. This part of the calf to about where your boots would get to at the max. And that's about a 22.2. 22.2. All right, so now we're just gonna do the length of the foot. So I'm actually gonna slide this again underneath your big toe and your heel. Wow, wonderful. Get that at 30, that works. Just slide that slightly, boom, 30. And the heel, you mind if I just slide this? Yep, perfect, go ahead and place it down. That's 8, so that makes things really easy. 30 and 8 is 22 on the length. And then we're going to do the width of the foot. We're gonna go from the widest point on this foot to the widest point, widest outside, widest inside. Let's actually get this to an easy number for reading, a 5, and this side is a little bit more narrow. So this side actually is a 5 and a 14 over here. So that means that your width of your left foot is actually 1 centimeter different than your right foot. But that covers all of it. And the only other thing I want to have you do is, if you don't mind, all right, I'm just going to take a look at the inside of your feet here, and I'm going to make a note of whether your feet are normal in the arch, whether you have flat feet, or whether you have a little bit more of a raised arch.